Like I said in my opening statement, the Baptist church is not the one true church. I really don't care when the Baptist church started. That is not when Christ's church started.
Travis Thomas likes to go ahead and take clips in order to make other churches look bad, right? This particular clip, my friend Tim is putting forth the idea that the Baptist church is not the one true church. It's not. We're a part of it, but we're not the one true church. We don't come out and say, unless you're part of the Baptist church, you're not going to be saved. No. The Baptist church is simply a denomination that Christians are a part of. There's a big difference here. I want us to take a look at something in Romans chapter 16, verse 16. Campbellites like to use Romans chapter 16, verse 16 in order to say that this is the name of Christ's church. However, when we read it, this is not talking about a name, but rather who the churches belong to. Remember, the church means the ecclesia, the called out ones, the congregation. It's a congregation of Christ, his body, right? So this is not a name of an organization, but rather it is a group of people who belongs to Christ. Now, if we look at Romans chapter 16, verse 5, let's take a look at that real quick. Paul is actually greeting the church that met at Aquila and Priscilla's house in Romans chapter 16, verse 4 and 5. This is simply just his benediction. He's giving his last thoughts to the churches that are in Rome. He's saying that other churches greet them in verse 16. This is all that the chapter is talking about it. But the Campbellites try to make verse 16 more than what it is. Let's also look at Acts chapter 20, verse 28. This goes back to the idea that Christ purchased the church with his very blood. Acts chapter 20, verse 28. This is all that's talking about. The church belongs to Christ, Church of Christ. It's not a name, but it talks about who the people actually belong to. And if you guys want to look up some more references, I also encourage you to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and read all the way to chapter 14. It's very good to understand the body of Christ and, of course, the gifts that go along with that. Now, do Campbellites actually teach that unless you're a part of their little group, you can't get to heaven? Let me play a couple clips for you guys so you can hear it. And actually, another Church of Christ exposed their fellow brethren for this exact doctrine.
The Bible teaches there's only one church. That's it. And anybody who's not a part of that one church, they're not going to get in. Now, I need to prove, like you say, you're not the smartest knife in the drawer. Neither, I don't claim to be, but we're going to read the scriptures. Now, we're going to establish that Christ only has one church, and we're going to have to agree that anybody who's not a part of the one church that Jesus said he was going to build, you can't go to heaven.
That I used to be a member of the Church of Christ.
On why I left the Church of Christ. And as many of you know, I grew up in this church. I was raised in this church.
Salvation is where God puts the saved in the church. I got to get in the Lord's church. I want to be baptized into the Lord's body, the body of Christ.